You are listening to the Curiosity Never Retires podcast, presented by the Osher Lifelong Learning Institute at the University of the Pacific.
Welcome to the Curiosity Never Retires podcast. My name is Jennifer Juanitas. I am the OLLI Pacific Program Director, and I am the host of the show. So very excited to have you back this week. Today we are talking to Joseph Osborne-Schoenleber, and he is a longtime OLLI member. I'm really excited to interview him today. He's our first interview with a member, and I wanted him to be the first because he is our advisory board chairperson. He's a longtime member. He's a committee member. He's taught classes for us. He's lectured for us. He's done it all. He's a volunteer, you name it. He's done it all. So I'd like to welcome Joseph to the podcast.
Thank you, Jennifer. Appreciate that introduction.
Yeah, of course. Happy to have you here. Yes. So let's give the people listening a little idea of who you are. I know you're born and raised in Stockton, right?
Yes, I was born and raised in Stockton, one of the, Dameron Hospital, actually.
Okay.
And my father and mother met here in Stockton. And my father actually was stationed, he was in the Navy. And so, when I was born, there was a Navy base that was here in Stockton, out on Rough and Ready Island.
Ah, gotcha.
And so my father originally was from Kansas City, Missouri, and so that's how him and my mother met. And so I was born and raised here in Stockton, went to school here in Stockton, graduated from Edison High School.
E-house. I have to say that for my husband. He went to high school there.
I graduated from Edison High School and went off to San Jose State and went there for a couple semesters, came back. Basically, ultimately, to make a long story short, I started out as a business major, and I was originally in banking and decided that was not going to ever nurture my soul. And I switched my major to my passion, which is art. And so I completed my Bachelor of Fine Art from the San Francisco Art Institute. And I've combined my creativity into my day job, which is I'm a real estate broker, and we own our own brokerage. We also have a staging company where, we use original artwork and high-end furniture and properties in San Francisco, along with staging our listings locally. So
excellent. So I love that you mentioned your business.
Yes.
Because that's something I wanted to talk to you about today,
Sure.
Mostly because in regards to OLLI,
Yes.
We're talking about their myths and misconceptions of aging, but we also talk about those for OLLI.
Yes.
And the fact that a lot of people think, oh, I'm going to join OLLI when I retire.
No.
Well, you don't have to wait to retire, right? I mean, you're a perfect
you do
example
not.
of that.
I think it's a great compliment to I love lifelong learning to begin with. And so, I think that, whatever business you're in, you can always benefit from something that's being offered through OLLI. There's so many wonderful learning opportunities, and it's also a great way, to meet people, because, a lot of new people that move here to Stockton have a difficult time meeting people, and OLLI is a great, healthy learning environment, to meet some wonderful people.
Yeah, like-minded people, right?
Yes.
So, we do. I don't know if I ever mentioned it on the podcast yet, but we do have almost 600 members.
Wow.
So, that's quite a big group of people to meet.
Yes, absolutely.
So, a lot of unique people, different people, even though you have those commonalities, but
yes.
All from varied backgrounds and stuff.
Very interesting folks.
Yeah, wonderful
Definitely.
people. We love our OLLI members.
Yes.
So, let me ask you this. We're kind of talking about the fact that you don't have to be retired to be a member.
No, you do not.
We love that. Another myth that I should probably mention real quick is that you don't have to be 50 to be a member.
And I think that it's really important to point that out, because I have met a lot of people that, could really benefit from some of the learning opportunities in OLLI, and they don't happen to be 50.
Right. So a lot of people think that they have to be
Yes.
50. Now, on
Yes.
our marketing and our catalog, we say that our programs are designed for 50 and over.
Yes.
And the reasoning behind that is mostly because the classes are during the day, and usually people like we mentioned, aren't retired yet. So most of us are working during that time. But, not everyone has traditional hours. And
That is
there
true.
are other things you can take advantage of by being an OLLI member that don't require going to classes.
Right.
Like you can take advantage of the travel
Yes.
or just plainly our benefits by going to conservatory concerts and having access to the university through the library and the fitness center and
Absolutely.
so forth. So there are a lot of other ways you can utilize OLLI.
Oh, absolutely.
So let me ask you this then.
Mm-hmm.
What do you see as the biggest myth of aging?
The biggest myth of aging, I think for me, I find aging is a mindset. And I just celebrated my 66th birthday.
Okay.
And, it's easy to start, getting into an aging mindset, if you allow yourself.
Right.
And so I think a lot of it is it's a mindset. And I think one of the most important things that we have to understand as we age in the 21st century is that we have to keep learning. We have to keep, up with, technology as much as possible. And because that's just where the world is. I mean,
Right.
It's
Right.
just, it's not an option.
Right. Well,
And
hence
so-
why we offer the computer classes through
Yes.
OLLI.
Yes, and so I think that when you stop learning, I think that that's not a good that's not very, very good.
Yeah. Stop learning, you stop growing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. So since you are still working, you still have a thriving business. It's
Yes.
doing fantastic.
That's right.
Do you ever see yourself retiring?
There's so much flexibility, being a real estate broker. And also, I think that, real estate is one of those businesses that the older you get, the better you are. And the reason why I say that is because you just relate to, people in a broader sense, culturally, economically, socially. And a big part of our business is it's like a lifestyle, really. It's a social opportunity. That's the way I see it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really think of it as work in a traditional sense.
Mm-hmm.
And so in that regard, it's just like a natural thing for me to be in,
Right.
until I could probably no longer do it.
Right. Okay. So you
I
don't
just
see
absolutely
retirement.
love it. No,
You don't see retirement anywhere in the near future,
Not really.
basically, because you're
Mm-mm.
basically what you're doing is aligned with who you are.
It
You're
is.
being social,
Absolutely.
being creative.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, providing the dreams of people, home ownership.
Absolutely.
You know, so that's
Absolutely.
fantastic.
And it's just such a wonderful part, just to be a part of a person's life when they're purchasing a home. It's just such a wonderful and rich opportunity, especially this last week. We had an opportunity to be invited to some of our clients' home actually, that they just purchased. And it was the first time they had celebrated in their home the celebration for the Day of the Dead.
Oh, fun.
And they had a beautiful, it was like a big altar in the house.
Yeah. I
And
think it's called ofrenda
yes,
or something.
absolutely.
Sorry.
Yeah,
To
absolutely.
all our Latin Spanish speakers out there, if I'm not saying it
that's what
correctly.
was.
But yeah,
And just to
ofrenda.
be able to be a part of something like that, to be invited into someone's home, and to sit down and to share a meal, not only with the clients, but also with their ancestors.
Yeah, exactly, because that's what it's all about, right?
Yes.
Honoring
Absolutely.
those who have passed.
Yes.
I love that concept.
Yes.
All Saints Day.
All Saints Day. Our
Yep.
church celebrates All Saints Day.
Yes,
And, and then that just, it spreads out into other cultural
Absolutely.
experiences.
definitely. I love that celebration. So let's talk a little bit more about OLLI. So
Yes.
let's talk about, how did you find OLLI?
It's really interesting. There was this woman who was a very, very famous photographer here in Stockton. Many people know of her. Her studio was known as Caroline's Photographic Studio.
Yeah, I recognize the name.
And she was the first person that invited me to a lecture at the Janet Lee Theater.
Oh,
And it was for a photographer. And that was the
Interesting.
first experience that I had, with OLLI. And there's various members of my church also that, had been telling me about OLLI. But that was the absolute first experience. That might have been about 5 years ago
okay. So
or longer. I'm not sure.
word of mouth.
Yes, word of mouth.
Friend invited
Absolutely.
you to check it out
Yes.
and experience it.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, I don't know. That was before I was with OLLI.
I think
but,
it was.
we hand out little cards now. We say "Be my guest," so you can give to friends and family.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, so you should. Everyone should be receiving them hopefully in their
That's perfect.
registration packet, so they can give them to a friend. Because
Yes.
a lot of times we have people where they're like, "Oh, I'm going on the bird safari. I really
Yes.
love to bring my husband. He's still occupied with other things, not ready to
yes.
join OLLI,
Right.
but he might be soon. I want him to have this experience with
that's
me, so
perfect.
they can bring him the one time."
Fabulous.
Or if they do, like you have a friend saying, "Oh, I think you'd be really interested in this lecture, and
Yes.
you know what, you should join OLLI too.
Right.
So come check it out." So that's why we do the "Be My Guest" cards.
Yes.
They're very useful.
Perfect.
So you became a member
Yes.
and decided, wow, this is really cool. This is for me.
Right.
Were you taking other classes? Just going to the lectures?
No, I think I primarily just started out with the lectures, and just kind of went from there.
Okay. It just kind of built. And then when I came aboard OLLI, you were teaching a class.
Yes, I
an art
was.
class.
Yes, I was.
Now, were you? Did the program director ask you to teach the class?
Yes,
Is that how that
I was
came about?
invited to teach the class, and it was an interesting experience because I grew into the class. It's almost like the class taught me how to teach it.
Okay. So have you ever taught before?
Oh,
this?
yeah. Oh, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
I had taught interior, along with my BFA. I also have a professional certificate in residential interior design, and I had worked in the home collection for Polo Ralph Lauren, which is was in the Stanford Center over on the peninsula, and I also had my own interior decorating business. So I taught a interior decorating class at Kenyatta College over in Woodside.
Oh, okay.
And so I had taught on the college level. And the thing that was really interesting about my experience through OLLI is I taught an art class. And it was more of a conceptual class, and a lot of what I see here in Stockton is, in general, people do not have the level of sophistication about art, and they can't imagine themselves liking anything beyond their comfort zone. And so this class was about introducing people to modern art concepts and modern art ideas, and I was really, really surprised at their ability to adapt, to these ideas. People that maybe never even had an art history class before, and so it was a learning experience for me and as well as for them.
Yeah. And they were actually creating art too. You weren't
Yes, they
just
were.
teaching them the concepts, they
No.
were actually applying them
They
as
were.
well. Yeah.
They were.
Yeah.
And what I would do is it was kind of a time, there was a lot of time involved because I created PowerPoint presentations. And I would build the class around maybe a particular artist, like, for example, Picasso. And I wouldn't just talk about Picasso. I would talk about, Picasso, early Picasso, his blue period, his rose period, his cubistic period, and show them examples of that and have them work in those individual styles, so they can embrace the artist as a result of understanding what the artist was doing and then almost mimicking that style, so to
Right.
speak.
And they felt like they have a better connection
Yes,
to him.
absolutely.
Yeah. I like that concept.
Yeah, it was different. It was not like
Yeah.
a class I had ever had before myself. And I found it very interesting in that regard.
So that's why you say you were learning too.
I
kind of
was,
as you
because
went
I
through.
was
That's
shocked
great.
at the quality of work that they did.
Oh, wonderful.
And they
You really,
really seemed to enjoy it.
inspired them. That's fantastic.
Well, I guess I did.
Yeah.
I don't want to
You
be
can say it.
too egotistical about it, but
It's okay. You can be proud. You inspired people. That's
yes,
fantastic.
yes,
So, and you also, let's see, you did a lecture for us on interior design.
Yes, I did.
And you're getting ready to do a lecture for us this spring.
I am.
You want to tell us a little
Yes.
more about it?
Well, I'm working on my memoir, and I'm building that memoir around art and how art has been important for me throughout my life, and all the way back to, I'm going to start with my very, very first piece of artwork that my mother saved, I think, from when I was like 7 years old.
That's
And back
great.
then, it was a time when, I think that my family identified that I liked these little creative projects, coloring books and stuff like that, and they started giving me paint by number sets. You know, I don't know if you've ever
those.
seen
Yeah,
anything
they
like
were
that.
so fun. Yeah,
But
I remember
starting those, and also I think I was in about third or fourth grade, and I was on my little school's newspaper doing drawings and stuff like that in the paper, and my principal became kind of aware of me and my art interest, along with a person who was really prominent in our community who used to do what we would refer to as yard duty. And so the two of them somehow got together and took some of my artwork, along with some of those paint-by-number paintings, to a woman that had a private art school at the time. And her name was Maxine Dalbin, and she gave me a full scholarship.
Wow.
And provided me with a lot of really sophisticated materials, you know, oil paint, and just, you know, it was just an amazing opportunity. And I actually worked with her for probably from about fourth grade all the way up to high school.
Wow. So you went, so this was an art school that was outside of the regular public school?
Yes, it was.
You would go
It
after?
was a private school,
Okay.
yes. Mm-hmm.
Wow. How amazing how everything came together, you know, and aligned.
Just by chance.
Yeah.
And so I have one of those original paint-by-number paint sets. And then I have all the artwork that I did when I went through that art school, along with some paintings that were exhibited at the Hagen Museum, because she had a connection with the museum, and as students, she thought of us. She was like a mentor for us, we were like her proteges, so to speak.
Right.
And so she actually had some of our artwork exhibited at the Hagen Museum, which is here in Stockton.
Wonderful.
And I have all those paintings.
You've kept everything. Wow. Good for
My
you.
mother saved them.
That's fantastic.
And so I have paintings that artwork that expands all the way back to 60 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, all the way
Quite
through.
a repertoire.
Yeah.
So are you going to be, in your memoir, is there going to also be pictures of all your paintings?
That
as
is
well?
correct.
And
Right.
Is it just paintings, drawings?
Paintings, drawings. At one point, when I was in San Francisco, I actually I graduated from the San Francisco Art Institute, which is primarily fine art. Matter of fact, the photography department was founded by Anzo Adams.
Oh, wow.
And we have an original Diego Rivera mural there because he taught there. And so it's a very, very, very famous, prestigious school involving fine art. However, I had some concerns about just graduating with a fine art degree. And so I took 2 semesters off, and I studied commercial art at the Academy of Art College, and I took graphic design there and also photography. So I may have some of that work in there as well.
Oh, fantastic.
Along with all the artwork that I've done throughout the years, all the way up to the present time.
Wow, fantastic. So that's what you're going to be talking about in your lecture.
I will.
Okay.
And I could possibly, I'm working on a book, okay? It's a memoir book, and I could possibly have that book published by that time. So
oh, wow.
I'm
Moving
hoping
right along.
too. Yes.
That would be good. Yeah.
Yes.
And then I think when we talked earlier also, we're going to kind of fold into the lecture kind of your story, like you said, of how you became, got the scholarship.
That's
and
right.
what it was like being a young person here in
Right.
in Stockton, growing
Yes.
up here and stuff. So I know
Yes.
our members love hearing, all about local people that have been
Yes.
successful and kind of the history behind their
Right.
story and stuff. So I think that's going to be a great lecture.
Yes, yes.
Really looking forward to it.
And I'm going to start at a really interesting time in my life. When I was born back in 1953, my family owned a building in downtown Stockton. And it was like a destination, so to speak, for African-American people when they first moved to Stockton, because they could stay in this building. It was like a rooming house. And the name of the building was the Bryant Hotel, but it was more like a rooming house. And this particular building was built back in 1910. And when it was built, it was a Japanese hospital for one of the largest Japanese communities in California.
Wow.
And so when my family bought that building back in the 30s, they turned it into this rooming house.
Wow.
And so that's where my family lived when I was born.
So you got exposure to all different types of people coming and going. And
Yes.
quite
And the
interesting.
Japanese culture was a very, very important part of my original upbringing, because we had a lot of Japanese culture that was around us.
Oh, okay. So it was in a certain part of town?
Yes,
that
it was. It was 25 South Commerce Street.
Okay.
And I still remember the phone number, Howard 29279.
Did you say Howard?
Howard, because back at the time, it wasn't all numbers. It was always like HO29279.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that.
And so as a kid, you had to remember that phone number.
Oh, so H-O like Howard. I
Yeah,
got it now.
HO.
Okay.
Yeah, Howard. HO.
That's
Longtime Stockton residents will remember that.
Okay. Shout out to the residents back then.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So that's very cool. I do remember, I don't remember that, but I do remember party lines.
Oh,
Do you remember party lines?
We didn't have a party line, but I do remember them. I remember people speaking about them.
I lived in a rural area, so party lines were pretty normal. And so, I mean, it made for good gossip around town.
Oh, I see. Well, you're not as old as me, Jennifer. I don't even know how you can remember something like that.
I remember because
Wow.
especially at one of my aunt's house,
Oh.
she was way out in the country, and you pick up the phone, you listen first to see if other people are talking. 'Cause
Yes.
then you okay, I can wait a few more minutes and hang up, or you pick it back up and you're like, I have an important call to make, and they're like, okay, we'll get off. It's like this
yeah.
interesting, you're really interconnected in your community because
Right.
you're sharing a phone.
Absolutely.
It's pretty fascinating. We've
Yes.
come a long way.
Oh, yes, yes.
Now we're carrying computers in our pockets.
We are.
Well, let me ask you this. What is your favorite part of OLLI, of being an OLLI member?
My favorite part of OLLI, I would say, are the lectures.
Okay.
Yeah, I really do like the lectures, and I like the diversity of the lectures as well.
Good. I'm glad to hear
so,
that.
yeah, I really do like that.
We try. That's one of my goals is to have a good variety.
Yeah.
There's certain ones that are more popular than others, of course, and we
Yeah.
always try to have them in the mix. But every semester, we're trying to look for new topics, you know,
Yes.
to make things fresh and
Oh, yeah.
interesting.
Oh, yeah.
And they're not every topic's for everybody.
That is
so,
true. That is true.
But I always try to recommend that even if you think it's not for you, just give it a try, because you might be surprised that it may be not what you thought it was, or you could find out something that's really interesting to you
Right.
when you dig a little deeper.
I agree. I really agree with that. It's hard to just look at a subject and just say, oh, that's not something that I would like, because there's so many nuances with
Right.
the person that's doing the lecture and the subject matter. And so it definitely, I think, could be a potential learning opportunity.
Yeah, I agree. And the lectures are our most popular offering that we have
Oh, are they?
for OLLI members. Yeah. We have 3 locations currently. O'Connor Woods on Mondays,
Yes.
Janet Lee Theater on Tuesday, and First United Methodist Church on Wednesday.
Oh.
We do offer a special lecture series at Del Webb and Manteca
Yes.
every other week, but
Yes.
that's specifically for Del Webb members,
Oh,
so
I
we don't
see.
include it in the catalog.
Yes. I
But
see.
the other 3, O'Connor Woods, Janet Lee Theater, and First United Methodist and Lodi, are
Yes.
always part of our lineup.
Oh.
And then when you break it down, we're probably, depending on the topic, you're looking at about 120 to 150 people total each week
I see.
watching and listening to the lectures.
Oh.
So by far it's popular. I think our second most popular offering might be Tai Chi.
Oh,
As
really?
far as courses
Okay.
go,
Yes,
we
yes.
had 40 people register for Tai Chi
Really?
this semester. Yeah.
Wow.
So next semester, we're actually our instructor for that class, Dr.
Yeah.
Ray Tom.
Yes.
He has agreed to offer 2 classes.
Oh, I see.
So if some
Perfect.
people want to come to the Tuesday morning one, they can.
Yes,
Some people
yes.
want to do Wednesday afternoon, they can.
Oh,
Or they can come to both.
okay.
And it seems that's going to be a real popular
Okay.
way to do
No,
it.
I personally haven't been to the Tai Chi classes. Are they all seated?
I believe he says 80% seated, so
Oh.
the majority is seated.
Okay.
So you're learning all the movements, the same
Yeah.
movements as if you were standing. At least that's how I understand it.
I see.
And it's good for people to get them moving. I
Right,
mean, that's the main
right.
thing. You're moving, and you're not
Right.
going to get tired because it's an hour and a half.
Oh, yeah.
That's a long
Yeah.
time to stand.
Yeah. Oh,
So we want to make sure that they're
Mhm.
getting all the benefits out of it. And,
Oh,
and
I
they
see.
could, I guess, potentially stand
I
at certain
see.
parts if they wanted. But
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
it's the way that Ray teaches it.
Oh, okay.
So,
I know
He
it's a
says
very
super
healing.
popular.
I've done it on a limited basis, but I found it to be a very healing experience, Tai Chi.
Yeah, definitely have to ask Dr. Tom to come in and do a OLLI podcast in the near future to talk about it.
Definitely.
Yeah, he's beloved. We are so lucky to have him as an instructor.
Say, very much so.
I'm very grateful to him being willing to do 2 classes next semester.
Oh, yeah, especially with it being so popular.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
The person who invited me to my first lecture, Caroline, loved the Tai Chi.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, she did.
Oh, that's nice to hear.
Caroline Beebe, that's her name.
Okay.
A lot of people would know of Caroline.
Yeah, for sure. I recognize the name from her, from her business.
Very, very talented photographer.
Yeah. So, I know. So, as the board chair,
yes,
the exciting part of being the board chair is that we're going to go to conference together.
Oh, awesome.
So OLLI at Pacific is part of the Osher Foundation. If you listen to previous podcasts, you've heard me talk about that.
Yes.
And they have the National Resource Center. And every 18 months, every 18 months, the Osher National Resource Center has a conference here in the United States for all the different 125 OLLIs.
Awesome.
Excuse me.
Amazing.
124 OLLIs.
Yes.
So this spring, so April, they're going to be having the conference in Florida.
Oh.
Yeah, Tampa, right? I think, Tampa.
Yeah, Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay, yeah. I've never been, so I'm very excited to go there. Yes. And how the conference is set up is they always ask for 2 people, 2 representatives, one person from the office staff, that'll be me, and one person that's a member volunteer, and that'll be Joseph.
Oh, perfect. I'm looking forward to it. Tampa Bay is beautiful.
Is it?
Oh, yeah.
I
don't know if it's going to be at the conference center, but the conference center is just in really a beautiful area.
I just got sent the email detail information the other day. I haven't opened it because I'm so busy.
Oh, I bet you are.
But I saw it come through. I'll have to take a look. I'll send you the details.
Perfect.
But I always look forward to the conference.
Wow.
This will be a really fun one. Kind of hectic time of year for me, but I always look forward to the conference. It's going to be, and I think you're going to have a great time too.
Looking forward to it. I was really surprised to hear that all the OLLI programs are not exactly the same.
Right.
And that there's variations in the different programs.
Right? Completely different.
My understanding is that this OLLI program here in Stockton is more of what they refer to as a boutique.
Boutique because of our size.
Oh.
Yeah, so like a smaller boutique size. Yeah, that's the size. We're a smaller OLLI in regards to in terms of membership size.
Okay.
So, but in regards to programming, the saying, the inside saying or inside joke, if you want to call it that, is if you've been to one OLLI, you've been to one OLLI. Because they're all different. It's not like you've seen one, you've seen them all. Get it?
Okay. Now, are lectures more popular at the other OLLIs than classes?
The interesting thing that I found is the lecture series that we have here, what's unique about it is that we include it in the membership.
Oh, I see.
It's included in the cost.
Yes.
Most other OLLIs, I don't necessarily, some of them call them lectures, some of them call them a class, like a one single class.
Oh, I see.
And they usually charge for those.
Oh, I see.
So the way we have it arranged is really beneficial for our members. They get a lot of content.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
For that,
definitely.
for the membership cost of $95.
Perfect.
So,
wow.
When looking at other OLLIs too, and regardless of size, the programming is unique based on what the members are looking for.
Oh, I see.
And maybe location and demographics. Like you might have like Reno, for example. I'm sorry, I can't remember the name of the OLLI there right now. I apologize. Okay. But they have a lot of more outdoors type activities.
Oh,
hiking, kayaking.
Oh, sure. Especially in Reno.
Yeah.
Probably skiing in the winter, I would think.
Maybe. I don't remember that one, but it's possible because I did notice they had a lot of lineup that's outdoors.
Yes.
So, each individual OLLI, and maybe if it's an OLLI that's far away from other locations, they might have more things that might not be as readily available as, say, here in Stockton, because Stockton's a big city.
It is.
It is. In California, we're the 13th largest.
Yes.
But we're also equal in size to, say, like Pittsburgh.
Yes.
Or in other states, we're
Right.
the size, we're over 300,000 here, a
Yes.
population in Stockton.
Right.
So you
right.
go to other states. I mean, isn't like Montana 500,000? I don't know. I shouldn't say numbers
Right.
that I don't know, but
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? We're
Uh-huh.
a really big
Yeah.
population here.
Yes.
So, when you compare that to a state of like where they would have an OLLI in Montana,
Yes.
they're going to have different needs for
Right.
their members. So
Right.
that's why, and that's the beautiful thing that the Osher Foundation foresaw, that they wanted their OLLIs to be member based, and that they wanted us, each individual OLLI, to provide what the members need.
I see.
So that's
Yeah.
why they're all so unique.
Oh, perfect. I know we have a lot of cultural diversity here in Stockton, and I
Yes.
see that reflected in our program here in OLLI.
Yes, I do too. Although I would like to see more of it, of
Yes,
course,
of course.
because we want it. It'd be nice if it would match the the
Demographic.
demographics of the city and the county.
Right.
But we do have quite a diversity.
We do.
And that makes our program, even more enriched.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Definitely.
Yeah. So, well, is there anything that you would like to talk about that I didn't ask you, or
No,
any?
I think we've covered it. I think pretty good. What do you think?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have anything you want to close with, or say, leave the audience with?
I just as I was walking here to the podcast, I stopped off at the gallery here, just down the way.
The Jeanette Powell Art
Jeanette
Gallery.
Powell Art Gallery. And for anyone living here in the Stockton area, at some point you might want to just stop in and take a look at that. It's very interesting. And just the campus here at the University of the Pacific campus, just in general, it's just so nice, to have this cultural, iconic institution here in
Yes,
Stockton.
I agree. We're very lucky to
Oh,
have
we
University
are.
of the Pacific, and to have
Definitely.
OLLI at University of the
Yes,
Pacific.
absolutely.
And the Jeanette Powell Art Center is beautiful.
It is.
Lisa Cooperman is the curator for the university. who
Oh,
runs
yes,
that.
I saw her office.
Yeah. Okay. And we try to partner with her, when we can. She there was an exhibit going on. She did a
Yes.
special tour for our OLLI members.
wonderful.
So, keep your
Yes.
eyes out for things like that in the
Oh,
catalog.
absolutely.
Because those
Yeah.
are pretty exclusive.
Oh, yes,
I
absolutely.
don't-
Especially being able to, have a tour with the curator,
Right.
the person that put it together, and
Yeah.
can explain, all the reasons why, she made certain decisions relevant to that exhibition. So that is just fantastic.
Lisa is a great partner. And
Yeah.
her mom is an OLLI member.
Oh, her mother.
So we
Oh,
love that.
wonderful. It's all in the family.
That's right. All in the Pacific family. University of the Pacific. Go Tigers. Okay, well, thank you so
Thank
much,
you,
Joseph. I
Jennifer.
really enjoyed having you today on our
Yes.
podcast, and I look forward to our trip to Florida
I'm
in
looking
April.
forward
It's
to it
going to
as
be a
well.
lot of fun.
Yes.
And make sure that for all you listeners, if you have any questions about anything that you heard today on the podcast in regards to classes or schedule, please go to our website at olli.pacific.edu. That's olli.pacific.edu. We have all kinds of information. You can even download one of our catalogs there. And our next week, I will be interviewing Della Richardson. So please tune in and make sure you stay curious. Thanks.
This podcast was brought to you by Pacific Tiger Broadcasting. Check us out on Instagram at PTB Live or on our website at ptblive.com.